So today I kind of want to deal with probably a subject that could also be called reality or fiction, right? Reality versus fiction. And I am not secretive about my past involvement with revolutionary activism and things like that when I was in college in my 20s. And I continued that, to what I even feel like I'm doing now, But today's topic is, I want to say, is Black sci-fi important to Black people? And but I think I don't even want to ask that question. I just want to say it is, So let me express myself on this sci-fi express lane as I get into it. And where this conversation came from is because, as you know, I got a lot of diverse friends. I got 600 friends from my hometown alone. And that's a lot, right? Shout out Teaneck, New Jersey. And they've known me from being a silly class clown to being a grown man in college to being an activist and a businessman and working with comedians. They know my friends from my hometown have rolled with me from that. If they just met me in college, they think, this is an upstanding, serious about that, but shoot, I was one class from graduating high school on time. And, my report card is very low. I don't even show it to my students. I only figured out how to put it into a workshop very recently. So I get all different types of people coming at me on kind of everything that comes out in the media because my friendship circle is that diverse. And one of the things that got twined together was this meme with Kevin Samuels, R.I.P., and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, right? So I took the meme and put my my Kickstarter cover for Planet Cubulon, and I put it right over. I was trying to block out Kevin Samuels, but the hate, I don't want to put that much hate on it. I just want to hate on the meme, right? So I put my picture of my comic book on top of all of that, and and I said, this is the only way I will post this silly meme, and people got my DM got a little heated, right? And I don't normally get feedback on my DM, from my posts. Usually they just go at me in my posts, right? So I'm on my DM, and I had to explain to them. I said, personally, I respect male-female relations as an important subject. I respect it as an issue that Black people have to deal with, no doubt, right? I mean, I made Gold Digger Killer, and I was on tour as Yo Jeff for years, and I still like to talk about male-female relations, but I'm not putting Kevin Samuels up there with two ministers, right? I'm not doing that. Ministers represent cultures, whether I respect Islam or Christianity, which I do, or not, they still are ministers. Not to mention, at the end of the day, I think both of them gave their lives amidst their flaws, right? Which I don't really know what Malcolm's were, but, Dr. King, they may have said he had some flaws. Amidst their flaws, they gave their lives for Black people. I don't know that of Kevin Samuels. And why do I say that? Now, I'm going to bring it all the way back to sci-fi, right? But Kim Samuels might have been trying to do something good in terms of helping Black women, but he was a I don't say there's a culture vulture, but there are people who benefit off the revolution, right? And now there's a thin line between dying broke, like Malcolm, and leaving your family nothing, and prophetizing off of the pain of others. And I think, that line is here, and I think Kevin Samuels was on the other side of the line. I think he kind of crossed the line where he wasn't really helping people as much as he was benefiting off of their pain. Yeah, of course he was saying things that were good, no doubt, right? No doubt. But I charge for my workshops, you know what I'm saying? But my dating workshops, but at the end of the day, I'm not making a spectacle out of people's pain. Maybe, it's experimental therapy. No doubt. He's not asking anybody to call him. I think he might not even have a price for them because the callers is free. But just because somebody gives you something for free, it doesn't give you the right to do whatever the hell you want to do with it, right? So I think that is, problematic. Now, into the Kevin Samuels conversation, I would defer to Dr. Umar Johnson, who had a really good video on Dr. Kevin Samuels in the struggle, and I agree with him, right? So, let me just say this: the basis I have disagreement with Kevin Samuels. I have as a dating coach. Yo Jeff, check me out. Yo Jeff, Hip Hop's first dating coach. That's me. Is he put the access around appearance for the woman and women, and money for the men in terms of their ability to attract a mate. And in my workshops, I say whether that is true from society and whatever percent it is true for, it's what's holding us back. So I say we need to put the shallowness aside. And those are two shallow values that we learned from Sleeping Beauty, who's just sleeping. He don't know if she's Democrat, Republican, or Knight in Shining Armor. He's just got money, he got bling bling armor, and he's a protector. So anyway, next. So why do I put my Planet Kebalon picture, the comic book picture, over these guys, right? Because I think the next level of struggle for us is in the future, right? I don't think it was futuristic in science fiction terms, maybe social science, for us to call for the end of segregation. That wasn't science fiction to say I want to live in an integrated world. Social science, no, because it was integration in Africa and there was integration in other parts of the world. So I wouldn't say that, right? But somebody could argue that integration, dreams of integration that Dr. King had was a science fiction dream. Okay. I'll give it to you that, people born in that time, we had segregation about 40 years. So people born in that time may not really have known anything else. Okay, I'll give you that. But ending slavery wasn't science fiction. Slavery didn't exist everywhere, and it was 200 years here in America, right? 250 years, right? I'll give you that. People born in that in that environment may have not been able to see anything else and dream of it, but it's not that now. And we didn't really even have science fiction writing until the 1900s, at least even in the black community. Mary Shelley was a different type of science fiction. So the science fiction that we know is H.G. Wells and other writers popularized that. So that's an element of today. So why do I say we need it now? Why do I say it's like one of the most important things now? because science fiction in any shape or form is futuristic speculation. The only one that would fall outside of that is alternative history, right? But other than that, like steampunk and some of them sword and soul stories, those are the only ones that may not be speculative, futuristic speculation. But when we start writing about other planets, when we start writing about post-apocalypse, when we start writing about vampires, werewolves, anything that takes place in the current day and forward, we're speculating about it, right? So I'm catching up on I read this already, but I'm rereading the DMZ by Brian Woods, and I'm reading the Free States illustrated by Sean Martinborough, right? Black guy, cool dude too. And I'm reading that, right? And it's a story about how they got to the DMZ, which is a demilitarized zone in New York City, or that New York City is a separate entity from the North and the South division in the United States. Now, in the comic book, they pick up in the middle of the DMZ where there's an election going for the president or the governor of the DMZ. It just got made into a TV show back in March, and Rosario Dawson, I forgot the other Latino actor, his name will come to me, it escapes me, I don't want to say it wrong, but they play the characters in this story, and they are doing a really good job. It's directed by Ava DuVernay, and it deals with this post-apocalyptic, post-Civil War apocalypse. So we had a second or third Civil War, and this is in that. And so I think that was it was really cool, and the way they showed it, like in the book, there's scenes where, you know, people need food, Philly has fallen, police departments have crumbled in various cities around the United States. And I just, you know, in the backdrop of all of this reading is what's going on in the Ukraine. And I'm like, yo, how do those people live? You know, wow. You know, so this is like, could this happen in America? Now, at the time this book came out, you had Barack Obama was president, and you just had an empowered battle between the racists and the liberals in America. And, you know, it was really wild. And this is all post 9/11. We're still dealing with that. Barack ran in 2007, and, you know, it just turned up, right? And so they have a scene in there where a militia kidnaps a government official and beheads them. And it's just really reminiscent of what happened in January 6th in Washington, and what almost happened in Michigan, where they were stalking the governor out there. And these things are realistic, I mean, real potential. You think you're reading something that is Alice in Wonderland, but in reality, it's some good speculation. So I was having a conversation with a coworker, and the coworker was saying, yeah, man, I listen to Tariq Nasheed every Sunday, right? And coworker's my dude, right? And he said, yeah, man, we want these reparations. You know, we're dealing with reparations in California, and it's going to be for foundational Black Americans, and they're going to trace, you know, your roots to, you know, how much of the $1.2 trillion that's owed to Black people. And I was like, all right, I'm with all of that, but have we speculated, right? This was always a big question in New York, right? Because we've been thinking about reparations for years, but we were talking about how will the reparations be divvied up? How are we going to give it, you know? And I actually, you know, was it going to be a check, or is it going to be some other means, right? So I was like, you know, At the time, this was before Barack Obamacare, and we were thinking, is just give them free health care, right? Cover all their health expenses, right? And that would be, get up that money and get us back on track. You get to go get your health screenings, you get your drugs, whatever you need. That was all right. Now we got Obamacare, so everybody has health insurance. Then I was thinking, education. Yeah, that's cool. I still think that's a good look. I remember Roxanne Shante, the rap artist. She did a thing where she was talking about how her record deal, she got unlimited education. And she said, I'm going to take care of this. And she went all the way up, and now she's Dr. Shante, Dr. Roxanne, and it's crazy. So I think that is good, because I'm a school teacher. I'm going to tell you right now, we are embattled with young people. It ain't just black kids, but black kids, we got to make up, right? So nobody's going to look out for us but ourselves. We only 13 population.